So I'm always attracted to this beautiful statue. It's one of the gods that all of the temples of Bali have. I'm always drawn to it. I've seen it so many times and it's so beautiful. It's kind of like, it looks like a god that has a mix, it's like a chimera. It's like a mix of, it's like a mix of a lion and a dragon head, and there's that's another lion or tiger there. I think that's a tiger, or it could be a dragon. It's like a baby. It's like protecting a baby. And look at the details. Look at the details in the carvings around the chest, around the head. And I get inspired from this for myself to dress up with these accessories that I wear, because I have I just feel like there's some sort of relationship. I feel like for example, this stuff I'm wearing here. See the details? Or even I'm wearing a dragon bracelet here. These here. This is the barong face. So these are, I get inspired from these gods, from these statues, and I'm always drawn to them. And it's probably because I had an incarnation here before. And here, follow me, I'll show you something else there. So in the entrance of these temples or these gates, you always see these statues here, or these gods that the people, the locals, give offerings to pray to. And this is so beautiful because it is just a way to acknowledge that there has been other people in the past, that there has been other beings who are probably more advanced than us, more aware than us, and it's good to acknowledge them and believe in them the same way religious people believe in Jesus and Muhammad and other things. But there's something about the connection that I feel with these things. And I myself lived in Asia before. I lived in Asia for years, and here I am here in Asia, and I just always have this connection. It's very weird, but I just feel like I've had an incarnation here before. Look at these gates, how beautiful they are. A cool thing is acknowledging that gods are not always gods, there's always goddesses. So this is both of these figures are goddesses, because you can see their chests. So they're females, not only male gods, like in the Western cultures where there's always just male gods. And I find that very cool. And especially the accessories, the decorations, what they're wearing, that inspires me so much. I love it so much. Salamander here. Oh, he fell.
No!
Poor thing.
She got too excited for the camera.
Bali is surrounded by lush, beautiful greenery. It's always lush, it's always green. Nature is everywhere. We adore it here. We love it. It's another temple here. A lot of incense, a lot of offerings over there to the gods that they pray to the entities that exist around. And much more offerings here at the floor, here. The faces of the barong, the god of spirits, and then the body is of a lion or a dragon. So for me it looks almost like a griffin. As you can see here, it has these beautiful wings from both sides. From here too, look at these beautiful details on the wings, and they represent like leaves with the flower there. And it's just beautiful. There's one statue here, and then on the entrance of the temple that you can see in the middle, and there's another one on the other side. And this is the other statue. And you see Ganesha over there, right at the front. There's a beautiful Ganesha, which I'm going to talk about in another episode because it's huge. It's a huge deity in the Hindu culture in Bali, in India, and anywhere where they worship Hinduism. Ganesha is huge, and it's the god. He represents removing obstacles. So every place you go to has a Ganesha at the entrance because it represents removing the obstacles. So your business or your house or whatever you're trying to do is prosper and works well. But this statue, every time I pass by it, almost like it speaks to me. It's beautiful. It could be just like from an artistic standpoint, but all the details and all of these, just the shape of it too, and which gets me always wondering, as I mentioned before, what if it was real? What if this creature existed before? Because you see in ancient traditions creatures like this or entities like this, like they are half animal and then they look like dragons or they look like griffins or they look like and winged creatures too, like this, like dragons with wings. So, and if they were real, how did they exist? How did they coexist with humans? And what was our relationship to them? So all of these questions are always in my head, and I'm trying to figure out if there's any truth to this. Are these just like mythical deities that people pray to and believe in, just like religions? Or were they some sort of truth that was there back in the day, that was actually there? Or maybe it still exists right now, it's just we lost the ability to see it. Maybe it's just overlapping our dimension, but we can't see it. But this is amazing, and I wanted to show it to you guys. This is beautiful. So if you want to come with me here too, I will show you something so fascinating. I want you to zoom in, or zoom out, whichever works, from the bottom, from this statue, all the way up. Now look at these beautiful sculptures of different deities. You can see some of them are barongs and some of them are not barongs, and I'm not sure who are these other ones. But the Hindu tradition has thousands of deities, and there's just so many of them. And here's again, you can see that the statue that we filmed earlier of the, I'm just going to call it griffin at this point. And at the bottom here you have this beautiful dragon face. It's like a dragon, and the dragon is a symbol of protection. And I want you to come here and look at that statue at the top with the golden detail that has gold on it. That's the statue of Garuda. And I love Garuda so much. Garuda is he was the companion. He's one of the deities, one of the gods in Hinduism, and he was the companion of Lord Vishnu, So Vishnu used to ride on Garuda, and because Vishnu is one of the highest deities in Hinduism, he was one of the highest gods after Brahma and Shiva. So there's Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. They're like the top 3 gods out there. Garuda was kind of like this strong, powerful bird that also looks like a dragon. It looks like a, what's that ancient dinosaur? The dinosaur that flies, pterodactyl? I think it's called pterodactyl. For me, it looks like a pterodactyl, if you will, but I'm just trying to connect the dots here, and or it looks like some sort of dragon or reptile face with huge wings. And it is said that he used to help people. He's a huge part of the tradition, of the Hindu tradition. And you see Garuda statues everywhere here in Bali. You see them everywhere. And if you come here, like look over there too. Everything is just so beautiful. And here, you can see this beautiful dragon at the entrance. So you see always a lot of dragons at the bottoms of these temples. In the entrances you see dragons, and for me it's like the sign of like protection. And you see that also in Mesoamerica, where you see a lot of depiction of dragons. And here again you have this beautiful statue here. So that's a form of that's I think a barong there, but then he's holding monkeys, because look at this face here. You don't know really what it is, but it's a headed animal for sure. It's the head of some sort of animal, and you can see here the monkeys, he's stepping on them. So for me, this whole, even monkeys at the top, for me this depicts that Garuda was fighting the monkeys here. So they were trying to throw some fruits at him, or they were trying to attack him, but he was fighting. That's why he has a sword in one hand. But these monkeys, they look more than just monkeys. They were wearing actually some sort of like stuff on their heads and around their waist as well. So it's almost like there was a race of monkeys that was aware, that had awareness. I'm gonna show you another statue over there that we're gonna pass by, because they have deity monkeys as well. They have monkey gods, and these monkey gods, they said that they were huge, they were gigantic, and they were more aware than the monkeys you have in the forest nowadays. They had awareness. They were advanced. They were smart, and that's why you see those monkeys there. They look like it looks they know what they're doing. It's almost like the movie The Planet of the Apes, where monkeys has awareness, and they're trying actually to attack the Barong here. But it's a beautiful depiction, and there's so much going on here. Look again, if you go up there, there's those two protectors over there. I'm not sure who they are. I would love to know the names of each deity here, but sometimes it's hard to track the names of these gods and these deities. But they're at the entrance of the temple, which means they form some sort of protection for the temple. And as you can see here in the ground, this is not a fresh one, but that's an offering, because people here, they always, every day, they give offerings to these deities, to the statues. They go to the front or in front of the statue, and they give offerings of either rice or small little cookies or sweets or flowers with different colors, and each color represents something important to these deities or to this culture. Also, the placement of the offerings is very important. If it's placed on the floor, it means for things related to earthly matters, and if it's placed above, I think it's related to stuff related to the spirit. So everything has a deep meaning to it. As you can see, there's some offerings on the hand in that statue as well. And now, so this is the temple that has a lot of barongs, a lot of dragons, which is a sign of protection, which is good. But what's amazing about the Balinesian Hindu culture is that they acknowledge good and bad, yin and yang, right? They acknowledge them. So they have temples for these deities that are good, that protect you and help you and love you. But they also have temples and statues for the deities that are evil or bad, if you will, because they acknowledge them. Why? Because there's fear that if you don't acknowledge the bad or the evil, it will harm you, it will haunt you, and it will attack you, and it will do something bad to your life. Whereas for us, for example, in the West, religious people, when they talk about Satan, they always say Satan this, Satan that. There's no acknowledgement. And for me, this is an amazing representation that they're aware of what life is made up of. Life is a balance between good and bad. They both exist. Peace, war, love, hate, hot, cold, right? It's the Hermetic principle, the principle of polarity. You have always two poles, but those two poles are only the same thing with different degrees. So peace and war are the same thing. It's just they're two different actions with two different degrees, same as love and hate. They're two different emotions. They're the same emotion, but two different degrees. So they acknowledge the evil that exists, which is amazing. And follow me here, because I'm going to show you something very, very cool. As a matter of fact, in that here, follow me, behind this covered thing here, and usually they do this, they hide the evil entities. And these evil entities usually look quite scary, and they don't look friendly. I mean, the other ones don't look friendly either. As I mentioned before about Barong, he doesn't have a friendly face, but I love how he looks like. I mean, that's not necessarily friendly, so don't judge the appearances. But these other entities that are evil, they make huge statues of them, like huge, massive statues of them, and they hide them. And sometimes when they have huge rituals or huge holidays happening, they burn them, or they use them in ceremonies and stuff like that. So come with me, and I'm gonna show you. This is one of the evil entities that exists, but it's hidden. But we're gonna show you a little sneak peek of what it looks like. Look from here, how massive this statue is. Just look how crazy it looks like. There's two of them. The other one is behind, as you can see, but they're huge. They're massive. That one looks like I'm not sure what that one is. We can take a look at it later, but come with me here. We're gonna first show the face of the first one. Look at the face of this one. If we can sneak from here, look how scary. It looks like a huge type of dragon. Huge. It looks beautiful. It looks like a piece of art to me. But we're gonna go and check the other one. We're gonna come here and see how these ones look like. So what do we have here? It's not finished. There's no head. It's not finished yet. But there's just like some huge claws, as you can see there, on the feet, and the head is not finished yet. But usually they will keep this here as also an acknowledgement that we build temples and statues to worship the good, but there's also the bad. You have the good and the bad, and they both exist. And we're gonna acknowledge them. And they give offerings to the bad ones as well. And there's a lot to learn from this. For example, if something bad is happening in our life, if we're struggling with something, we have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge that it's bad for us. And how can we change it? How can we stop it? How can we transmute it? Because we're alchemists here, how can we transmute it and make it good? This is what fascinates me about the Balinesian culture. But stay with me, I'm gonna show you more other statues of other deities that are really cool. That I know that this stuff looks like myths, it looks like straight out of science fiction book, but it's amazing, and there's something we all can learn from it. All right? As you can see here, this monkey statue is huge. And it looks like the small monkeys are attacking the big monkey. Now Bali is known for having a lot of monkeys. There's even a forest called Monkey Forest. There's monkeys everywhere you go. But they're the small ones, the normal monkeys you see anywhere around the world. But in here, in the Balinesian culture, they also worship these huge monkeys. And as you can see in this statue, it looks like there's two types of monkeys. There's the huge ones and there's the small ones. So for me, that means that it's not metaphorical for the normal monkeys. It means that these huge monkeys were a separate kind of race or separate entities. And as this statue depicts it, it looks like even they're attacking the big monkey. I'm not sure what's going on here. But in many places in Bali, there's so many statues of huge monkey gods. Huge, and usually these monkey gods are always huge. They're gigantic. So was there an entity or a race that existed out there that were like huge monkeys? Did it really exist? I mean, what about people talking about the Sasquatch, the Yeti? What is that? Isn't there some sort of correlation there? Because if people see that in North America and in Siberia, and people see it also in Bali, based on these deities, does that mean that it's a race that have existed before? Maybe. What about gorillas? They're huge. I know a lot of people say, well, that's just a gorilla. Maybe it is a gorilla, or maybe not. Maybe it was a monkey that had some sort of it was a race that was just advanced enough to think just like us, just like humans. But anyway, these are all speculations and theories, but they're fun and it's good. I love to connect the dots and see what comes out of it.